All right, everyone, we are joining Kitti Andrews, the fabulousness that is about to happen. I can't even begin to explain it to you. So for our followers who are overwhelmed overachievers, this one is dedicated to you. We have the queen of decluttering so that you are calm and can actually have cash flow, peace of mind, and maybe just a little bit of fun in your life. Kitti, thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be awesome.
It is, and thank you for having me, Lily.
My first question, you know what it's going to be. What got you into the declutter mindset that it was so important?
It's always been there with me. I've always been that since I was a kid, that organ on the outside, organized. You know, the bedroom was reasonably tidy. I was a file clerk in my first job out of school, and waitressing. I was the one voted the one to organize the walk-in fridge. All of these kind of things. When I had an 18-year cleaning business, I always felt kind of compelled to just move something just a little bit so it flowed a little bit better, and the clients always liked it, thank goodness. And it just ended up that I was doing some decluttering for staging for real estate sales, and a coach said, well, why don't you do that virtually? And at that time, this is 2017, 2018, I Googled it, and there were 3 other practitioners in the world, one in Sydney, Australia, 2 in the States. No, 1 in Britain, 1 in the States. And I thought, okay, well, let's give it a whirl. And it mushroomed from there.
Yes, I love it. And so decluttering, as you and I know, our little organization minds do that. It's in our life. It's the things that we can move, it's the walk-in freezer and stuff, but it's also like here, like how many people need this just as much as they need their room or their house organized? How many is there some overlap?
That'll be a 10 out of 10 people. Every single person that I have ever asked, which bothers you more, which affects you more, mental clutter or physical clutter? 10 out of 10 people will say the mental clutter. Kitti, we know how to pick things up and move things around. We know how, we just don't do it. Excuse me, the mental clutter, we just don't even know where to start. And that is where my one system comes in, that not only helps you to clear your physical space, but it can also be used for the other four pillars. If we have time, we'll get into that. Your health, your habits, your heart, meaning your relationships, and your head, hence declutter the brain.
Yeah. So my question for you is where does someone start when specifically with the mind? Like you said, we all know how to pick up. We all know how to put the socks in the drawer, whether we do or not. Where do you start with the mental? Like, oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what, if I demonstrate my one system, we'll have you saying the word one by the end of this, by the way. If I demonstrate it in the physical, then I can explain how it goes in the mental. So the one system is as follows: one room at a time, one area of that room at a time, one thing at a time. And so by one room at a time, it means don't just start, say, in your office and then do some in the basement and then come back to the office. Why? Why don't do that? Because you have lost your momentum. By the time you get back to your office, you forget where you are, and it takes time to get back into character, so
Yes.
to speak, and you maintain the momentum. One area of that room at a time. Don't do a little bit at your desk and a little bit in the corner. Well, I should go over there. Oh, the hell with it. I'll come back and do it tomorrow. I'm tired. Make the decision, which is not easy, to start in one area, whatever that is, and finish that. Why? Because you feel that all important momentum and self-esteem.
That
Because many
dopamine hit. Ooh, yeah. We all love a
Amen.
good dopamine hit.
Amen. And it fuels your productivity for entrepreneurs. It just makes you feel good because that feeling good translates into your dealings with your clients, with your partner, with your cat, what have you. It goes beyond itself. And the third thing is the one thing at a time. Is it tedious? Yes. Is it time consuming? I'm afraid so. However, it's also, in my experience, the one way to train your brain so that you can be clutter free for life. Because what's the point of decluttering? This is why people don't do it, is because they say, well, it's all going to come back again. No, it won't. If you train your brain as you're doing it. Now, to your question, how does this translate to your brain? Imagine, if you will, you're in the morning and you're getting ready for your day, and the brain starts to go. All right, did I write down to email that person? Oh my God, did I phone that person? And by the time you get to your desk, your heart is racing and you're thinking, okay, I'm overwhelmed. I do not know where to start. Yeah, I have a list here and it's all just kind of blurring, especially if you're dyslexic. That's another conversation.
Mhm.
And what I have found is if you niche it down to one thing, one priority. I do this every single day, by the way, Lily. I do every single day. All right, what one thing in the category, I'll usually try to start with a category. What category needs to be done? In my case, I'll think of people. Okay, what does my assistant need from me right away so she can do her job? What does what if I'm not at my desk yet? What does my partner need? Does he need feeding? Does he need changing? Or, as the
Yes.
cat said, look after it, look after the people or things that need me, and then I can get to the inanimate objects. And then that to me is another category. By the way, I didn't mention that I'm full-blown foot stomping ADHD, and most of my clients are too. And this is why I find that the one system can really calm things down, because it forces you to hyper focus, which we do very well. Thank you very much. And yeah, just okay. I'm going to do this. How many? How many, Lily? That a girl. What?
How
One
many?
thing.
One.
Well, I'm going to do this one thing, and I'm going to do it with excellence. I am
Mhm.
going to do this very, very well, and then I can move on to the next. How many, Lily? One thing. And does that make sense? Does this make sense?
Yeah. And I love that you give a few different options because everyone is different and everyone has different like flavors. And so like for me, when you're like, oh, one room, one, and I'm like, I love categories. I do very well with categories with my house and my mind. So I would very much do like all of the dishes first and then all of the laundry. And it's like, yep, that's for me, it's categories, but it's also I will do, okay, what emails need to be sent? What social media needs to be done. So I will go categories in my, for me, it's like, yep, pick a category and I'll do all the one things at a time in that category. Now, and then you move on to another category. Cause how often it's like popcorn. It's like, what really are you getting done? You got two kernels done the whole day.
Yeah. Oh, really? This is literally, this is a thing, is one it can get so distracted, and we're not, irrespective of all of the technology that we have, that is a constant interruption. Turn off your notifications, by the way, please, in the name of all that's holy. Um,
Oh, yes.
but I digress. Um, there's so many distractions anyway. that you can literally at the end of the day, and sounds like you know what I'm about to say, that you've got those two kernels done at the end of the day. And I hope to holy hell that they were important kernels,
Mhm.
because how many times do we just spend our, well, I better do something.
Yeah. And
I'll
like,
scroll Facebook. Hey, that's something.
yes. And as far as the notifications, oh my gosh, I got a story for you. So, I run an international business. I am busy. I work 7 days a week. I love it. I have lots of balance in my life. So I do self-care every day also. But I had a smartwatch for years. It was from when I woke up to when I went to bed, I had a smartwatch on and I could check like clients' progress and all this stuff on it. It was super convenient. That's why I got it. It was super convenient. Perfect, right? I got horribly sick. And when you are sick in bed, you're not wearing your smartwatch. I took it off. It was gone for a whole week. I put it back on. The first notification caused a full blown panic attack because everything was connected to the watch. And I took and I was like, no, no, I didn't know how much anxiety I was causing myself by wearing this thing. Because every talking to, if it would have gone off while we were talking, I would have instinctually just looked down automatically to it because that's what you do. It's not rude. I'm not taking away from this, but I was in such a habit of disengaging to see.
Yeah.
And over half the time, it is pointless notifications that were not needed at all. And 99.9% of the time, it wasn't an emergency.
Absolutely, absolutely. Somebody liking your comment yesterday is probably gonna, it's gonna wait until you get to the laptop and you might
Yes.
scroll it. And you know what? No, yeah, absolutely. It's not an
Yes.
emergency.
There's no reason to create more anxiety in your head and outside of your head by having those things. I turn off notifications on almost everything on my phone. At this point, I no longer wear a watch, and then almost all notifications are off on my phone. And people are like, what if something happened? Let me tell you what, if something happened, it better be with someone who's important enough to me that they have my phone number. And then they will
Yes,
call and text and be like, answer your fucking phone. And I'll be like, yes, I am here because I still get phone calls to my private number from there. And I'm like, if it is an emergency, you better have that private number for
yeah.
me. Like if my mommy is sick, absolutely call the private number. I will answer immediately. I have done that with client sessions and they're like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "It's one number, it's one ringtone, it's one vibration setting on my phone." And I'm like, "That means a family member's in the hospital." And I will drop everything and answer immediately. But I
Yeah.
set it up that way so only that one thing will interrupt me because I know what it sounds like to hear it vibrate in that specific rhythm. And it's
Mm.
always like, nope, bye. And I'll like hang up on a client and be like, what's going on? Who's having a problem? Um, but yeah, so that's how I see it. It's like if you have to have something, have it be so different and unique and separated that that one thing you can automatically know that it is serious enough that you need it. Everything else can wait. Nothing is life or death.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You see how this all clutters your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have done is basically decluttered it before it starts to clutter up by essentially your not buying the magazine. I've got a story about this, about not buying the magazine in the store. How much time do we have? Do I
We
have 90?
have 12 more minutes.
Okay, if we have 90 seconds to share a story, my very
Yes.
first one had a L-shaped desk full, just full of papers. And she wanted to hire an assistant, but the assistant would have nowhere to work, so we did that. So again, first client, I say, okay, what's this first piece of paper? And she looks at me like I'm from Venus and says, we are not going through this one by one. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know any other way to do it. And yeah, she's already paid me. Okay, well, she relented and she said, okay, well, we'll try it for a few minutes. 5 minutes into it, she starts rifling through these things saying, why do I have utility bills? I can keep them online. Why do I have bank statements? My accountant doesn't need these, etc., etc. And so she says her brain was searching for ways to reduce the clutter as she was going through it and giving her ideas. And we threw away 6 or 8 trade magazines that hadn't been read, and they weren't cheap. Here was the best. When she told me about a month later, Kitty, I was in the store where I normally buy those trade magazines, and my arm automatically reached for it, just by habit, right?
Yeah.
And she, wait a minute now, I just threw away $50 worth. I'll buy it every 2 or 3 months. I don't need it. Again, training your brain that you don't need it. And you're training your brain with the notifications, don't turn them on. In your relationships, how can it affect your relationships? Training your brain to not listen to somebody carping at you, to just kind of tune them out.
Yeah. And that
Training.
with
Mhm.
relationships, like there is this horribly toxic clutter thing, and I don't know if you see it with people, but if you are accessible all the time, people will have access you all the time. If
Yeah.
you do not declutter that boundary, you are not, it's it's so important because I've had several clients who are like, but they always call and they always text and they always want a response right away. I'm like, yeah, you set that up that way. You're constantly responding right away and got them into this paradigm where you are available 18 to 20 hours a day. And
Yes.
I'm like, no, I always tell people, I'm like, I'll get back to you within 24 hours always. And anything less than that is a perk, but that's it. It's just a perk. It is not a paradigm. And people are fine with it. I think
Yeah.
that's a huge thing that people need to, all the listeners, people are fine with it. And
Mhm.
if they're not, it's a them problem. It's not a,
They are fine with it, and I think actually they like it and find it refreshing. My clients, they communicate with me via Voxer app. My Voxer app is only for how many? It's only for my clients. And I tell them, okay, this is part of the coaching program. You've got me 7 days a week, potentially. However, I may not respond to your message for 6 hours to on the weekend, 24 hours. I will get back to you. And they go, oh, well, yeah, of course, that's cool. It's nice that we can even reach you at all. People like to have boundaries. People like to have structure. We're in such an immediate world, and we've gotten used to instant this, instant that. But there's something kind of refreshing about what you've said of it'll wait. It's
yep,
okay.
yep. And it gives you time to come at it. I loved, I had an aunt who said this, don't speak to me right now. Like kids, I want attention. I want attention. And she said, I cannot give you the attention you deserve. I need
Uh,
you to wait 5 minutes because you deserve all of my attention and I am not going to give you less than what you deserve. And you should never ask or settle for less. So you need to wait 5 minutes for this to happen. And I was like, yes, I have, you sit on the couch 5 minutes and then it's all about me. And,
right?
but think about that mindset. If you're expected to respond right away, if everything has to happen right away, you are never giving the person the energy and time and attention that they deserve because you are distracted by something else. It's always like, nope, I would rather wait the 5 minutes or the day or the whatever and be like, now you have my undivided attention and I can
Yes,
give you all of me.
yes.
Let's do this now. Because wouldn't you rather have all of someone than half? Oh God, a third. Whoa, that just sounds sad. I never want a third of you, Kitty. I want all of you. I will not settle for less than all. You are fabulous.
Well, even if you're tired, for
Mhm.
example, I live an hour ahead, like further out than Eastern time. So I will say to people, I'm sorry, I'm up at four Eastern for my newsletter. I am shutting it down at, it would be 8 Eastern, which sounds early. I should be 24/7 entrepreneur. You will get much better results for me if you can wait until the morning for a response. Oh yeah, yeah, sure, okay. I'll get better attention. Sure, yeah, count me in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'll wait for better results. Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. We're decluttering our communication. We've decluttered a lot in this conversation.
We have only a few minutes left, and I know you could talk so much more about this because you are the leading expert and the queen of decluttering, which just makes me so happy because it's something that I love talking about. Are you accepting new clients at the moment?
Yes, I am accepting, and that's a good question. Thank you for that. I am accepting people who want to rid themselves of the ghosts of the past and start fresh and be able to say, no, this no longer serves me. Whether it's my clothes or old training courses or whatever it is, just people that they feel it's time. It's time
Yes.
to let go.
I love that. So people who are committed to truly decluttering, how would they contact you? Is there a website and or email that they can reach out to you with?
One-stop shop, www.declutterthebrain.com. And there's a button there that you can book a quick and no-cost call where we can see if we're a fit to work with each other. My programs are very simple. The email is, you can even email me from there, or it's Kitti@declutterthebrain.com. And the phone number is there too. I actually get people to text me rather than book. They can book calls, but yeah, text me for a personalized appointment because everything I do is personalized. Why? Because life is not like pantyhose. One size does not fit all.
I love that. Yes, yes. Life is not like pantyhose. So true. So thank you so much for joining me and having so much fun about talking about decluttering and advocating for yourself while you do it. This has been fabulous.
Thank you very much for having me, Lily. This was fun.
Absolutely. And to all of our followers and listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more. Remember to like if you found this entertaining or useful in any way. And remember that we are absolutely here to help. So comment your questions, comments, and concerns, and we will happily reach out to you. Go forth, be the hero of your own story, and have a fabulous day, everybody.